Hey, it's the K-tastic one on Money Chaos, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment podcast.
For the time being, time to get into the news. Andrade released from WWE earlier this week. Um,
Yes.
it seemed like it wasn't coming, but here it is.
Yeah. I mean, it was almost inevitable when he asked for it, and then it was denied. Um, but eventually, I assumed they took a look at I guess, the books, or whether or not Vince's opinion, because Vince's opinion on Andrade wasn't high to begin with. Um, Plus, we're also getting to the time of the year where a lot of releases start to happen.
That's true. Really, right after Mania.
And Andrade just trademarked La Sombra for himself. So most likely you will be seeing La Sombra in a Lucha Libre ring within the next couple of months.
And it will be in the next couple of months because it was, he doesn't have the 90-day no compete clause. He's allowed to go wherever he wants at this point. Do you find that surprising that WWE granted him that?
Um, I'm I'm both surprised and not surprised at the same time, if only for I wonder if that was in his contract or that clause was waived. And I also wonder if maybe somebody else had a little bit of influence on it.
Somebody that goes woo.
Well, I mean, they went woo. I asked them why they're so depressed. They go, it's more like woo. No, yeah, I'm wondering if Charlotte actually has had anything to do with getting that no compete clause. Uh, if it was ever in there to begin with, we don't know. But
Right. I, I, it seems like, it should have, it usually is in there for the wrestlers. I think maybe, special conditions allowed it to kind of happen the way it did. It's gonna, and, maybe I'm kind of reading too much into this already, but, in CMLL, they just started a new, Los Ingobernables. Um, he's an OG. And there's already talk between with the new Ingobernables de Mexico, doing something with LIJ. So, you know, I think it may be a good time for him to venture out, but we'll see. Speaking of Charlotte, she was uh she was supposed to wrestle Asuka for WrestleMania. But that kind of changed after it was revealed that she had COVID earlier this week.
now, I never saw any reports that were definite that had Oscar and Charlotte on the card. It was Oscar. The only definite thing I saw was that they didn't have an opponent for Oscar, so I made the most likely association, that being Rhea Ripley, and that turned out to be correct. Um, that's more like that's more of a that's a numbers game based on who's left at this.
Essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, the way that it was originally built, it seemed like they were gonna put the title on Lacey Evans and have Evans wrestle Charlotte at Mania. Obviously,
yeah.
that didn't happen. They kept the belt on Asuka, and it seemed like they were going Charlotte Asuka. And now Rhea Ripley kind of got drawn into this championship that maybe not she was ready for. Agree, Scooter?
Yeah, I agree. And hold on, there is some incoming news, and yes, okay, we can now. The Universal title match at WrestleMania is now a triple threat. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan.
An Edge.
Roman Reigns, I said Edge first, didn't I?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. But I think we kind of saw that coming after the Fastlane paid preview. What do
Uh,
you
yes, we did.
what do you kind of is this more appeasing Daniel Bryan, trying to get more fans because they know Daniel Bryan's a draw, or not believing Edge could have a really good one-on-one match with Roman?
I I don't think it's any of that. I think they happened into this. Um, again, that the momentum that one superstar builds that makes every writer in the WWE and Vince question whether or not they're making the right decisions for WrestleMania. And then to suddenly just try and capitalize on that momentum, which is really odd given our climate because you can't really judge momentum now.
Because there's no fans.
Exactly.
Right.
And the idea of Daniel Bryan being put into this match, it makes me really wonder if Edge they're seeing something that maybe it's not exactly that he can't believe he can't have a good one-on-one match, but given the chemistry in the ring, it would probably be best to capitalize it so that it doesn't die.
This is another interesting question. Is Daniel Bryan inserted into this match to take the belt off of Roman without actually pinning Roman? Whether it be Edge pins Daniel or Daniel pin Edge.
That's most likely the case. Um, I mean, although I would actually no, never mind. Roman has one of the most successful streaks at Mania. So, most likely, yeah. Brian or Edge would likely take the pinfall, and the head of the table can stay the head of the table.
And everybody keeps their heat.
Basically.
Yeah. Next interesting thing to come out of the news, WWE is exclusively on Peacock now. And things are maybe not the same way you remember them playing out. They have scrubbed some offensive content out of the WWE library.
Yep. Just as some example, one example, they removed the match at WrestleMania 6 between Bad News Brown and Roddy Piper.
I believe it's just the promo, not the whole match, right?
No, the match too,
Oh, wow.
because Piper's half of his entire body
Yes.
was black, painted black, and also the infamous 2005 Survivor Series segment where Vince drops the N word.
I think we already knew that was going to get censored. I mean, anything that's not actually directly from the WWE, any other place, it is going to get censored.
Surprisingly, the women's championship match from Armageddon '99, complete with nudity, is still there. No, I'm kidding.
But that being said, do you see there being a lot of more content being edited or censored in the coming months?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's their platform now. The WWE has to essentially follow the rules. Um,
Does WWE care at this point? I mean, they're getting their money.
yes, but given that uh, there's not going to be any WWE touring for until the least 2022.
Or later in the year 2021.
There was an announcement. There was a story to uh, released no WWE touring anytime soon. Uh, no plans to tour for the first half of 2021. They're going to try for the second half of the year, but it does not look good at this point.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
And the Thunderdome's new residency begins next month at the Younglings Center in Tampa, and that is where it will essentially stay when the WWE decides whether or not it's prudent to return to a weekly live event. model or not, which means we could be seeing tapings return.
I mean, if they're not touring, then it basically means that the Thunderdome is here to stay a good for a little bit, a lot longer than maybe we anticipated.
Plus, you also have to remember that in most of the contracts, there's a house show stipend or a live event stipend. So with that not with no house shows, the WWE has to basically figure a way to not be in violation of contract, although I do believe this does count as a force majeure, an act of God, and I'm pretty sure that's covered in terms of essentially canceling out that clause in the contract.
Right. I think that is kind of a wait and see how they deal with it, because the way they've been dealing with contract issues as of late has not been so great. And last thing on the news circuit, Impact Wrestling moving to Thursday. We saw this coming, didn't we, Scooter? With NXT going to Tuesday, they really don't need the competition or the headache of going up against anybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and as well, Rebellion has been moved back as well.
Didn't see that.
By I believe it's now April 25th. It was scheduled for the 11th, I believe.
I didn't remember it was later in April. I'm sure we're going to be talking all things Rebellion and what happens with Impact Wrestling when we get there. Because I think there's going to be a lot to talk about now.
Yes. We could probably spend an hour on the Hall of Fame announcements alone.
Kane, Great Khali, and RVD.
So,
That's my childhood right there. Kane and RVD.
Kane and Khali are confirmed. RVD not exactly confirmed.
Really?
But it's more than likely.
Yeah, I think so.
This really could be in response to AEW planning a live event, WrestleMania weekend.
Right.
And them trying to lock down as many people as possible.
That's a good point. Right. I think we should conclude the news here.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.